Program initiated.
Well, here we are at it again. I'm so happy to get back to streaming again. I really enjoy doing this. So it's really good that I'm back and doing this because here I am. So, yeah, I appreciate all the people who have, come and looked at my stuff over the last little while. I do appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And even some of my shorts are taking off, which is really nice. So before I get too far into this, let's go to the title. Okay, so here we are. Now, if you were new here or this just popped up on your feed saying, hey, DCBFX is going live, if you could do me, the spring favor, give me a sub and, give me a like, that would be awesome if you could. Just, it helps me to know that what I'm doing is working. So I'm just going to get my panel up so I can see what I'm doing, see that I see me. I have everything running off to the side so I can see me, so I make sure everything's working as it should. I assume everything's working sound-wise because I see my Rodecaster is going through. So, yeah, well, this is cool. I couldn't find my old holographic emitter, so make another one. I got the green done. This is all done by hand, and I paint the gold in soon. And hey, cool. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is not prop related, not 3D printing related, and anything like that related. I want to talk about some things that it drives me crazy. Now, let me give you my bona fides here. I've been a computer guy since I was 8, maybe. I've always been a tinkerer. I've always been taking things apart. And my mom tells a story, but, I would take something apart. She goes, and I put it back together again and it worked better. And, or no parts left over, anything like that. So I've done that a lot. And then when I was around 8, I got into computers. I got into, playing around those things and, really enjoyed it. I ended up at one point, I had a VIC-20 and then I had a Commodore 64. I mean, the Commodore 64 was interesting because we were in Florida at the time and there was one on sale and I bought it and I brought it home from Florida and it was awesome. So much fun. Really enjoyed it. Programming in BASIC and I got into machine language programming. And then I got into high school, played around on TRS 80s, trash 80s as we called them, did more basic programming, and it was really, really easy. One of the assignments in the computer club was take the screen, have the computer draw a square around it, input a number. So I have a screen saying, input, and have a line draw across at that, and then I had a pixel come down and land on that line. Piece of cake. I probably do that now in my sleep. Although I'm programming in Swift now, so that's a little bit different. Anyway, so I was computer science or the computer club. And then in grade 11, I finally got to take computer science. And this is a fun story I have. I was done a full year in October. We're working on this today. Okay, click, 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 and done, submitted. Oh, yeah, that's good. Here's next week. Done. Here's next month. Done. Here's the rest of the year. Done. So at that point, my teacher, Mr. Allison, kudos to him. He was a great teacher. Also, hell of a guitar player. He just said, all right, I can't teach you anything else. Class, ask Dave. So it was fun. Back then it was Commodore PETs and a full network. We had the big 5.25-inch drives, dual drives. So on Fridays, I put in a couple game discs. All right, guys, here's the directory. Go here, have some fun, play some games. And it even got to the point that I aced it. I got 98% just because it didn't give up perfects. And then grade 12 came, and grade 12 was interesting because I got mono in the first semester, or not first semester, but the first half of the year. And then it got time at the end of the year. So with mono, I didn't write the exam because I had a medical excuse. I didn't write any of my exams. Got to the end of the year, and they're handing out awards, and computer science board. And the whole class went to Bill. What about Dave? I said to him, Fraser, why? Well, everyone dropped 10% on the exams. I said, Fraser, I wouldn't drop 10% on your exams. So I came in second, which is fine. It's fine. Yeah, I screwed around a little bit too much. We got the Watcom basic machines and I was playing around pretty easily because they didn't get around changing their root user for a couple days, so I made my own root user. A whole other story. The best part about that story, the one that I tell people all the time, is we got to the end. Now, earlier on in the year, we were doing drawing pictures on the screen, and I was poking and peeking, and I was doing stuff. I was doing pixel by pixel stuff, and someone saw my program and printed it out and went to the teachers, "What's Dave doing?" And the teacher said, "Don't worry about what Dave's doing. Do your own." He came in later and said, "What are you doing?" So I explained what I was doing. He goes, "Oh, okay." Anyway, I told you that story to tell you this one. Got to the end of the year. We all have our projects done. I've been done for weeks. And it was a big program. And we get to the best student, one who won the Computer Science Award, and a teacher trying to debug his program. And they're just like, oh. And I just walk by. You know what to fix it? Yeah, of course. What is it? Well, surely the best computer science student in the class can figure it out with the teacher. Surely you can, right? And walked away like a boss. So that was my computer science my computers in high school. And it was a lot of fun. And I aced it. It was a really easy course. And yeah, I wish they had a grade 13 because that would be one class I would have done well. If you don't know me, I repeated 13 because I had a lot of fun in grade 13. I was chasing women. And, I had to because if I didn't, not to have to chase women, but if I hadn't taken another year, I never would have met my wife. I wouldn't be in the bliss I'm in right now. So everything works out for a reason. Anyway, again, I tell you I started to get to this story. I took computer science in university and I was bored. It was COBOL programming. I've done this. There's nothing going on. I don't want to do this. So I ended up going into sociology and got a degree in criminology and moved on from there. So I got out of computers for a couple of years, but I got back into it in the 90s. I had a buddy who worked for a future shop and I was there visiting him because I was his best man. He was my best man. And we hadn't both gotten married yet, but we were really good friends. I had been all through high school. And I bought a LC. Well, let's put it this way. These are the Macs I've had. 2E, I have the Lisa still. Mac Portable I still have. LC, LC3, LC475, 7200, 120. I got that one back when I was working at a Computer City, and that is an old thing to say because that has been gone by the wayside for years. 8500, I still have. PowerBook 190. Mac Pro Tower was my main iron for like 15 years. M1, Mac Mini, and then a Mac Studio, which I'm doing all this on, and I'm not even getting 7.5. Yeah, I'm getting almost nothing going on here. It was 60 frames per second, so obviously it's a powerful piece of iron. Now, that's just what I've owned personally. I have a lot of them in my business because I'm an Apple repair center, so I have tons. I've had tons of minis, and I've got a couple MacBooks. I've got several iMacs. I've got a Mac Mini server, things I use in the business. So that's not my personal. I am the business, so I guess they are mine as well. But this is what I've had personally, and this is what I've used a long time. So I have been using Apple for a very, very, very long time. My 2E I got in 83, I believe, which of course wasn't a Macintosh because Apple Macintosh came out in January 24th. Is 24th? Yeah, 24th, 1984 is when the Mac came out. And I have a Mac. I have one in the office. It doesn't work, but I have it. I have a couple. I have like a Mac Aquarium. Now, the least I have still works, sort of. I need to find boot disks for it, but it still works. So I've been through this for almost 40 years. And I've seen for almost 40 years how Windows galore, a little bit of Mac. When I looked to prepare for this, I looked and I saw that the Windows install base, because there's a lot of Linux and other things out there right now, Windows install base is 57% of the market. Apple install base, it's 30% of the market. Now, if you go back to the 90s, especially when Apple was beleaguered, after Steve got ousted of his own company, and we had Scully, and then we had Spindler, and then we had Emilio, and then everything, it wasn't great. Now, it's a fun story. I was telling people back in 96, when Steve Jobs was approached to bring Next back into the Apple ecosystem, I told people buy stock. What? Buy stock? Are you kidding me? I bought some stock. Maybe 9 shares. I didn't buy a lot. It split when Steve came back. But then it sort of dropped. I bought some more. My wife's like, are you sure? Trust me. At that point, after Steve came back, I watched it climb, split, and split, and split, and split. So I ended up selling it back in the economic downturn in order to have some money for keeping the business running. But yeah, I maybe turned a decent profit, a tidy profit, and it was good. And everyone's like, why didn't you tell me to buy Apple? I did. Oh. Anyway. So I have spent most of my time, most of my computer life, most of my life as an adult working on the smallest subset of computers. Well, again, Linux is smaller. Small subset. Like back when Apple's beleaguered, you had like 95% of the market and then 5% of the market. That's changed. It used to be Windows, Mac, and now it's getting to the point where we're getting here. And the Apple install base is still pretty high. I fix a lot of computers. There's a lot of Apples out there. Tons of them out there. Now, granted, a lot of people do PC as well. A lot of my friends fix PCs. I have a great relationship with several people in town. We don't want to touch Macs. We'll send them to you. Can you send us PC stuff? No problem. No problem at all. Do that all the time. And it works out pretty well. The problem I'm having is even now, and Apple's well installed. Apple's one of the most profitable companies in the world, isn't it? 150. Oh no, they're no, well, not 150. They're $1 trillion company. But there's certain things I still can't do. Now, the reason this came to a forefront is I watch a lot of videos on this streaming. OBS. OBS is great. I love OBS is open source, and it's Windows and Mac and Linux, has all these things available. And I watch a gentleman called Michael Fair Jr. He talks a lot about OBS and streaming. He does a really good informative channel on streaming and all these things like I'm doing right now. And he talks a lot about a program called Prism Live Studio. And it looks very cool. It's got some great things going on. And I said this on his stream a little while ago. He was doing something. I said, you know what? I love your stream, Michael. But again, another product that you're reviewing that I can't use. And someone said, yeah, man, what's that? No Mac version? And Michael got a little defensive. And I guess I can see why he would. He said, hey, man, I'm just showing them off. I was like, yeah, but you talk about these great things. Why don't you say we're at the front? A great new streaming tool for Windows. Even a lot of really cool things that you can do in OBS that are available from plugins to the OBS project. Windows only, Windows only, Windows only. There, a lot of them are coming out for Mac, but it's like, guys, big install base. A lot of streamers are going to have this sort of iron, to work with because they're console streamers or console gamers, so they're going to have Macs and things like that do it. And just why not? So anyway, he goes on and on about the new update of Prism, and it was amazing. It was really cool. And, they're like, here it is. And then, yeah, you can do this. But then, coming soon. Okay. Like, it's something that's been made in the last year. Why would you not have an Apple programming team to do it? If you're going to do it, and it's not that hard. And then another thing I loved, this one even hurts more because this used to have a Mac client. Now it does not. I have to play this on my Surface Pro. And it's just, there's so many great things out there. And even the biggest thing with Star Trek Online, you had a client. Like, what's going on here? It was there and now it's gone. Like, I can do a virtual PC, I can do it in Parallels, but then I'm emulating. So, the throughput's going to suck. Like, even something like City Heroes, which I talked about a couple weeks ago, which is back online again, which I need to get back playing again. It's got a Mac client. And it's a game that's not even supported anymore. Like, it's all run on homebrew servers. So I don't get that. I think that's what I don't get. It's just the fact that you have this huge installed base. Windows only. I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to alienate that community. Now, granted, the other side of it too, I can see, because as I said, I'm becoming a programmer. I've been working on programming a lot. I'm programming in iOS. So I'm only programming in iOS. So I'm not programming for Android, which, I can see that. But, I'm working towards, these are things that I want to do in my thing, but I'm not selling it. I'm making things for fun. But I don't understand why you ignore a huge part of your install base. I don't get that. But anyway. So that's a bit of a rant about that. It's just, normally I wouldn't be too worked up about it, but we're coming up on 40 years. And I've heard all the jokes. Like, When I worked at Computer City, I was a Mac rep. I was one of 3 Mac reps, and I knew my stuff. Although certain people were kind of, anyway, we won't go down that path. I knew my stuff. I could sell some PCs, but it wasn't something I wanted to do. So it's like, oh, here, I'll get Dave the Mac guy to come help you out. And I got them going. At one point, I was working a Saturday, and I had to deal when I worked there because I got working there right after I got married. I worked for an auto manufacturing, I'm not going to mention the name, Honda, and I have chronic problems with my shoulders because of working there, and eventually they fired me. Although they didn't say that, we have no positions that you can fill here. And I said, I can drive a stick. And they said, you're not test driving cars. I said, well, I just want to let my adjudicator know there are jobs here you don't want to give me. And at that point, too, I was one of the higher educated people on the plant floor because, all the people in the office. And I was like, I have a degree. I have a degree in statistical analysis. Oh, you have a job offering for statistical analysis of dirt particles in the paint shop. Oh, who got it? Oh, Gilbert. Yeah, I went to high school with him. Yeah, I think he finished grade 12. I have a degree with a full year of statistical analysis. Oh, I don't qualify. Oh, I don't play hockey. Oh, I don't play on the hockey team. Okay. Anyway, I got let go. I got fired a week after I got engaged. My wife still stuck with me. So I got a job right after. I had some time where I went and did some training and everything else. And we got married and I got the job there. So I made a deal with them. I said, look, I'll be your Mac rep. I'll be your full-time Mac rep. I need 2 days off. So if you need me to work Saturday, I have Sunday, Monday off. And that worked well for about 6 months. New management came in and said, no. Oh, I quit. What? Well, this was the deal I had. If I'm going to work, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the next week, no, I need 2 days off to spend time with my wife. Oh, all right, I quit. So, yeah, so I did that. And, the Mac stuff was good. But one day I went in, it was a Saturday, and I was just having a day. I also told them, too, that I was going to work Saturday afternoon shift. And I was going to work Friday night shift. They said, are you sure? Yeah. If I leave here 6 o'clock, this is right downtown Toronto. This is west in the 401. If I leave at 6 o'clock, I get home at 10 because it's Friday. If I leave at 9 o'clock, I get home at 10. Oh. So I had a long night the night before. Saturday comes around. I'm doing the morning shift. Sorry, I got cat hair in my face. And I had something because I will always carry a floppy disk with things on it. I had a Barney screensaver. And this is back in the time of System 9 where, it was like the wild, wild west for things. You could put anything you want on these things. And I had a Barney, hi, girls and boys. And then shots rang out. And Barney got destroyed. Every parent loved it. Every kid was like, so my boss told me to take it down, but every parent went, can I get a copy of that? Okay, you got it. So I did that for a while, and then it just got to the point where I'm tired of commuting for this, and it was going to be one of two things. Either I moved to Toronto, which I didn't want to do, or find something else. And at that point, I said, I'm going to find something else. And I got a job at a local PC company, and I did that for 8 years. And just the guy I worked for was a bit of a tool, and I just got to the point where I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of working with you or for you, and I quit. But bye. And then I fell backwards into doing Macintosh stuff because I knew the girl who had set up a Macintosh store in my town, and it got to the point where it was, come work for me part-time. I said, well, that's something. Come work for me. Oh, come full-time. Okay, full-time. Okay, you're running the place. Yeah, I might as well get out. Okay. Oh, I'm going to sell it to somebody. What do you want for it? So I bought it, and that is coming up on 20 years now. So I'm doing Mac for a long time, and for the longest time, it's been, you do Mac? Really? So this is back in the time of the multicolored, the teardrop iMac. And then we got into the G5 iMac, and the number of those I fixed, oh my goodness, hundreds upon hundreds of them. They had, the capacitors had problems. I fixed tons of them to the point where they still come in now and like, I think I can take this apart, I think. Anyway. So I've been dealing with all that beleagueredness for so long. And even then, when Steve turned into a great company, it was doing really well. And things were going really well. And then he died. And his replacement, it was, I'm not speaking out of turn because this happened a long time ago. I got to the point where my rep said, we have a change in our goals. My goal at that point, for a long time, I was making, $300-400 on selling a machine, and then the margins got cut. So making, $50 on the machine, to which is not worth my time to sell them, so make more energy to fix them because I do 100 an hour to fix them. And then Tim took over. And it was like, we decided to double minimum sales goals. In order to stay a sales rep, you need to do $200,000 a year rather than $100,000 a year. Oh, okay. What's your plan? Oh, I don't have one. Well, why not? Well, I'm not going to do it. What? Well, who's to say next year you're going to make it $300,000? I'm not going to bust my hump for you guys for $30 a machine. Screw it. So I've been doing service stuff for a long time. And watching everything change where it becomes like in my Rotary Club, my old Rotary Club, around the time that Apple started to take off. So we had the MacBooks and everything else. This is probably around 2006. Someone said to me, can you help me we did a talk called a classification where you talked all about yourself. And when I did mine, I was in the PC world. So I actually took video, and this is 2002 when you didn't have this happen. I imported video into PowerPoint, and in my presentation, I had video. And people were like, how did you, what? And it was not easy in 2002 to do that. Now it's stupid easy in video. So we got to the point of, I did this presentation for a friend of mine. I got it all together. And this is the first time anyone in the room had seen the cube transition, which everyone uses now. But the cube transition where you have the screen and the whole thing rotates. The whole room went, whoa! And it rotated. And it went really well. At the end of the meeting, someone said, what is that transition? And I said, well, it's the cube transition. Well, how do I do it? First, buy a Mac. Oh, yeah, you guys. But now, even 8 years later, everyone has a Mac. And I don't understand the thinking that all this huge installed base and not every company's writing for them. I don't understand that. Like, there were certain things that you couldn't do when OS 10 first came out, but in OS 9 you could do anything. There were like rows of software that I love because I got a discount at Computer City. I will try that and I'll try that. One of them was the Monty Python Complete Waste of Time, which was basically, it was the Holy Grail and all these different little things, which you can now get on your iPad. I think it's still available. The story of the Holy Grail. It's a great little app. You can go through everything. It's fantastic. But I bought all these things, and then OS 10 came out, or I guess at that point they called it OS X, and it locked everything down, and everything was harder to do. And I can see there was a bit of a learning curve to do that for people to program in it, because it went from this language and this processor to this processor with this language, and yeah, it was a learning curve. But it's been 20 years. Like, OS 10 came out, in like 2001. So it's been over 20 years. I can program for the Mac. So I'm going to actually, I'm thinking about making something very rain meter-ish so I can have, something in the middle of the screen as a program. It gives me all this stuff so I can just click on the link and start up. So, some thoughts for that. I'm going to finish my iOS stuff first. I've got working on a pad. I'm going to be a very cool pad. I'm going to have my own, whether I can actually sell it or not, I don't think, but I'll have it on my own. People, oh, dude. So I just don't get that. I don't get the fact that there are so many things out there that you can't do still on Mac. Maybe, maybe this whole thing, maybe with Prism, it just is, we've got Windows programmers, and we're going to do it all in Windows, and we'll get there when we get there. And according to what Michael said, the Mac version is coming by the end of July. I will not hold my breath, and I'm probably just going to stay in OBS, but I wanted to take a look at it and see, if this is going to be something that's going to be, maybe the things that it can do. Does it a little bit better than OBS. I'm still looking at what Live Studio or Prism Live Studio does rather than OBS, but I would like to see what my other alternatives are. I looked at Slob's Streamlabs OBS when it was out, and I went, I don't think so. Now, when I first started doing OBS, it was very daunting, but I got my, you can tell I've got it figured out. Everything's working out really well, but I was looking for another thing, and if it's going to run, and according to what it shows, it says Mac OS and Apple Silicon is what's showing up underneath that coming soon. So it's going to be silicon based, which means it's going to have a lot of power under the hood because the silicon processor, like I'm running an M1 Max. This thing screams. I've got 32 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of RAM, 32 cores, 24 GPU cores. I've got tons of stuff going under the hood here. I'm running 3 monitors right now. I've got a 34-inch monitor there. I got a 27-inch monitor here, and I got a 21-inch monitor here that is vertical. So I've got all this information in front of me, and I've got my Insta360 link, and I don't have it right here, but I could, pop down, which, what the heck, we'll do that. There's my desk, which it's there to do these things. And this thing, like, I'm not even, what am I at, 6.3% of my CPU, and I'm running at 60 frames per second. So granted, this is only at 1080p, but it's looking pretty darn good as I see myself in my monitor here. So I guess at this point, I'm going to wrap it up. I just wanted to get sort of that off my chest, like, why is it 40 years later, we're still having problems getting software for this platform? This is a very viable platform. Like, I think back to some of the other keynotes long ago when they started bringing out Mac OS X. At this point, we had Windows XP, Home, Windows XP Pro, Windows, and then Windows Vista. But I remember Steve making a joke. We have Mac OS X, I'm going to guess here, Snow Leopard. Actually, what do we want to say? We'll call it Lion because it was free. Free. The professional version of Mountain Lion. Free. The Ultra Ninja Dragon Firebird edition of Lion. Free. Just because give them the gears. Because it makes more sense now to develop all these cool things in the OS to sell more hardware. I got my wife got herself a used PC for doing a course she's taking at Athabasca, and it was like $20. And I had to get a copy of Windows on there. And do you think that was easy? No, it wasn't. And for the Mac, like, I do this all day long. It's like people go, how can you? Did something once for my, I guess I would call her my niece-in-law. She lives with my nephew. They haven't made it official yet. And she was like, I need to do this and this and this, and I can't get this. So yeah, come back in half an hour. What? Yeah, I've got it on thumb drive. Just come back half an hour. I'll have it done for you. So a major OS install. She's like, how do you do that? Much like, I always love that. It's in Independence Day when David Levinson, he's got the thing on the top of his car. She says, hey, go look at the window. I'm over here. Here I am over here. Mrs. Wiseman, I call her Mrs. Wiseman because she was in a show called Now and Again. Anyway, how does he do that? My wife says that to me sometimes. She gives me that look. How does he do that? Which is fun. It's fun. But I do that sometimes. People come in. What? No, someone else told me it's going to be 3 weeks. I've done an hour. What? Yeah. It's, the fact of doing it officially for 20 years and unofficially for 45. But, yeah. So, hopefully, things come down the pipe and things get better. And who knows, maybe this weekend, Prism Live Studio comes available for Mac. I'll download it, give it a whirl. I can just do test things. I can make a quick test stream for myself, and see how it looks. And yeah, that would be cool too. But that was just me getting this, like I say, off my chest because it's so funny. It's almost like I always choose wrong. I had a Betamax. I chose Mac. So many things. Oh, no, I had a Samsung phone back when they were crap. I have iPhones now, and I do iPhones a lot, and it's, they work really well for me. I'm running an iPhone 12, and I have an iPad Pro. I have 2 iPad Pros, and, they're phenomenal, and the things I can do with this are just amazing, just amazing. So the Apple infrastructure is good. I just don't know why more people don't run out for it. So I'm going to wrap this up now. We're almost at half an hour, which that's pretty cool. Half an hour talking about stuff. So there you go. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week, but I will be here because I like doing this. I'm glad to be back doing this again. I don't want to, cop on what Dr. Price and Larry and Dan do. I'm not going on the internet. I will see you all next week, 7 p.m. EST here on the Holodeck, and we'll figure out what else is going on. I think maybe next week I will knock out the background and we'll actually do some Star Trek. We'll see if I can get myself motivated to do that this week and have a little bit more fun. Like I got the Holodeck in the background here, as you can see. There's a Holodeck there, but we'll do a bit more and we'll have something in here. Maybe I'll just be a talking head rather than that. Maybe add come up with a few things to add a little the Holodeck or the hologram shiver like Al did in Quantum Leap. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for everyone who's watching this after the fact, because no one joined in today, which is fine too. This is just a live stream for me to talk about stuff. As I keep doing them, more people are going to come joining in, hopefully, and then we'll have more of a conversation. But that is today's stream. I hope everyone has a great day. We'll talk to you all.